Hi, Paulina. How are you?
Hello, Alexandra. Uh, I'm fine. A bit cold because it's getting colder and colder in Russia. How's California? Sunny California.
California actually was rather overcast and cloudy today. So it was warm and cool at the same time, which is a bizarre weather condition that is not often seen probably in your part of Russia. I don't know. I was writing a novel today, working a little bit on the novel that I've been engaged with, and so it was making me smile. We'll be talking a
Wow.
lot about smiling today, won't we?
Yeah. Do you consider yourself as a smiley person?
In general, yes, because in California, it is against the law not to smile at people, even if
Yeah.
you don't mean.
Yeah, this is what I know. I was about to ask, is it really true? So do you really have to smile at some points, even if you don't want to smile and you still feel like, okay, I need to smile here. Do you ever have this feeling?
You know, it actually really depends on the age bracket now, because there's been so much cultural change over the last couple of decades that now I notice a lot of people are not smiling the way it would be conventionally understood to be acceptable. And people more in my age bracket, what are considered the Gen Z crowd, uh, don't smile as much as people that are millennials and older.
Hmm. Maybe those people are just expatriate or some kind of people who came from another city, places, countries. Sorry.
Actually, no. I read an article about this, and apparently it's an actual thing. What I said just now is has been documented by professional psychologists.
And what is written there?
Well, it's written that there is a generational difference in the amount of smiling that is done, and that oftentimes uh, people that are Generation Z will just give like a blank stare to people that they don't know because they're so poorly socialized or something like this.
Okay, so we can say that America got
Shame.
got tired of smiling too much.
I guess so. You could say that, I suppose.
All right, so today we were planning to talk about um, why do people think that Russians are not smiling or not smiley at all. And also, of course, we will compare Russians with other nationalities and with maybe perceptions of it. So, do you really think that? So, as far as you know, do you really think that Russians are really not smiley nationality in general? What is your perspective?
Well, my perception of Russians is somewhat mixed. I do remember I took a class in the start of my college career, a French class, with a Russian woman who was much older than I was. I think I was probably about 17 then, and she was like maybe 30. And we ended up as uh, lab partners. And when we first met, she just gave me this stare that looked like a laser beam about to melt my brain into a cake sitting in the hot sun or something. I can't really think of a better way to describe it. And then later on, she turned out to be one of the warmest, touchiest women that I'd ever known, ironically enough. So it was kind of an interesting experience to
Hmm.
have that exposure to the culture. And yes, I did learn later on after that that in general, Russians do not smile at people that are strangers.
So yeah, from the beginning you had absolutely like typical, I would say, perception of Russians, which other foreigners have. Okay, that's women showed you. Um, so so yes, so you still you already know that what is we could say what is behind this smile and how this I mean that smile works a bit different here in Russia, right?
Yes, yes, that's what I came to know after just doing a little bit of research. I always like to research things as thoroughly as I can in general, just so that if there's something that happens in life, whether it's a smile or something else, I kind of have a context for
Hmm. Okay. But let us let our listeners know so what you know right now and what I can share here. Uh, so I think all this um, about the concept of smile generally, yeah. Why, for example, I am myself being a Russian, yeah. I would never know even that there is something wrong with us, right? Till the moment I go abroad and or I start speaking with any foreigner. Till this moment, I would never even consider that there is something different. Um, I've noticed, of course, watching some films, movies, that people there can give different like type of smiling, not really from my point of view, not really genuine. This I've noticed, yeah, but uh, I was never thinking about us mm, being being like too serious. Um, so this is more about the concept of smile, as I said, because um, we smile when we really want to express some genuine feeling, and we don't have this um, concept of smiling as a polite manner. Uh, do you know about this, right?
it. Yes, yes, that's what I learned.
Mm-hmm. Uh, so,
I think in general, the biggest challenge um, for me in terms of understanding all of that was getting over uh, the different perception of what is polite and proper and what is not. Like for an American, as you noted, most of the time, a smile means to put someone at ease, to make them comfortable, to let them know that you're not threatening. In
mhm.
Russia, my perception is that perhaps to be so open to a stranger as to smile at them is improper, for example.
um, it's it's okay, it's fine, but yeah, to smile too broadly, I would think that, there is something wrong with this person. And people are used to express their warm feeling or their care, yeah, that they care, by maybe by some warm words. So by some maybe some even gestures. So for example, you can tap the shoulder if you want, uh, For example, if let's say if you meet an old lady and then you just help her to bring some, well, let's say a bag, and then you say like, oh, thank you very much, you like God bless you, and you say you can tap her shoulder, you don't need to smile, you can tap her shoulder, like you will also be healthy, take care, for example. Yes, and that's not not necessary for us to smile to express care or warm feeling. So you can do it with actions, with words. Um, this is how it works, and especially speaking about, for example, I think speaking about these Caucasian nationalities who lives here in Caucasus, I think they are a little bit even more reserved because they are taught from their childhood to be reserved a little bit, to control their emotions. And I think I can even right now imagine mature Caucasian lady who does a very, very, very warm or a very careful things to others, but she won't smile at all. But she would do something incredibly good, uh, just easy. This is
That's very interesting.
mhm. This is how it works, um, and so good good things doesn't necessarily include a smile, and even a kind of out of feeling of modesty. I mean, modest as a as a feeling of um, not boasting about yourself, not being very much proud of yourself. Out of this modesty, you even keep your, I mean, serious expression, facial expression, and even if even that way it will look even more noble. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, yes, I understand perfectly what you're saying. That's very interesting about I noticed that right away, the difference between the two cultures. For example, here you can never ever touch someone that you don't know. Especially obviously if you're a man with a strange woman that you don't know, you cannot touch her. She will be very threatened by that. A man touching another man, he'll be very threatened by that. Even sometimes, although not obviously to the same degree, if there's a strange woman all of a sudden touching me, I will go, "What's wrong with her?" But the smile, we do. So it's like that, those two things are reversed. So I noticed that right away as you were talking. So that's very interesting.
Oh, when I said about old lady, that was like little bit different. I wouldn't touch, or if the man, let's say, will let's say will touch me, I mean will tap my shoulder or something, that should be a very special situation. For example, I got scared or something and he does this, but like all of a sudden, like in a very small talk, that would be also not appropriate. I would think like, oh, why does he do this?
Mhm.
um Interestingly, that um, I even start noticing this, that I came to India, and in India, people are very smiley, yeah, and even me has became like that, has become like that when I came there because of the sun. When you see every day sun shining, and you feel obviously sunny, shiny, and you keep smiling, keep laughing, and I've just remembered that we once we took a picture of a group of Indians. We were sitting together. Then I offered, let's take a picture. We took a picture, and um, almost everyone is smiling, and one girl was not smiling, but and she was looking at the picture and said, "Oh, I look bad. Oh my God, look at how ugly I am." I said, "No, you're absolutely gorgeous." And she's sitting with a very serious um, look, and like
Perceiving herself as ugly because of that somehow.
yeah, but from my point of view, that looks like I am like a sublime creature here, like a
Yeah.
goddess came to your party, guys. It really looked like that for me. But she commented this like oh, not looking good. And here I understand that two cultural concepts met because here in Russia, even people tend to take pictures being serious. If you go to dating website and start looking at the pictures, most of people are not smiling there, and that's a cultural norm.
I think
While
that's
in
true of drawings too, actually. And most of my pictures, I think if I've ever used a dating website, I'm at the most, I'm doing a lip smile. I'm not showing teeth because that's culturally ingrained in me. It may be something that Russians and Germans share in common.
Yeah, maybe. But for them, let me just quickly finish this my idea about taking pictures and them perceiving us. I mean, Russians. Once, one of my friend was looking at our mutual picture, and he was smiling, and I was very serious, but I perceived this picture as I'm looking at myself. I was looking at myself and I'm thinking, how angelic am I? I am there. This is how I was thinking about myself. And you know what he said? I was shocked at the way he commented this. Look at you. You're like a patient of psychiatric clinic. Can you imagine that? This was for me, like shocking because I can't say that I wasn't happy at this moment. I was really happy at this moment. And this is the way how I translate or how I exposure my happiness. But for him, it's a kind of sign of 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 a
Not
kind
doing well.
yeah. And it's I didn't even try to defend myself here because I understood like okay, that's impossible to defend. Uh, you won't understand what is it here and so, like that. But I also want to ask you uh, mm, about another, not meaning, but another reason for smile, which Western people, I mean, European people, American people, especially I think European people do. The I'm talking about it like a sign of confidence and superiority without words. Um, do you, I mean, I'm sure you met this type of smiles.
I believe
Um,
you are referring to the type of smile that is known as the smirk.
Mark. Uh-huh. We absolutely haven't got this type of smile, I think, in I mean, yeah, of course, some people can use it, but tell me about it more.
Well, the smirk is usually used in general when one has triumphed over an enemy in some way without using force, or when one has done something very, very clever in the face of great odds, when people were betting that you would lose or you would fail in some way. That's usually when a smirk is employed. But it's very interesting for me because you surprised me with this question. I have not really thought about the smirk or the different types of uh, little formations that one can do with one's lips when you're in a particularly bad mood at someone and you have won a little small battle with them or something. But that's generally when it is employed. It's a very particular case when one uses that type of a smile. It's not as common as one might be assuming.
I know. I think it is quite common. And why? At one point of time, I got very much interested in this cultural thing. I mean, I think it's a very British cultural thing when people try to kind of resolve the conflict uh, by a smile. So I'm interested, and even right now, about this conflicts and how exactly British people um, can resolve it at some point, by using smile as the answer. And I was watching this series with Maggie Smith, if you know this actress.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you know this wonderful, charismatic actress. And
She's very entertaining. Yes.
uh, pardon?
She is very entertaining. Yes.
She is, yeah, she is charming lady, and her remarks in this Downton Abbey, absolutely captivating and charming and witty, and the way she uses them sometimes uh, to. Um, to um to show sometimes it shows her, she uses this way, like she um, communicate her, as I said, superiority, and immediately crush the opponent, and becomes sublime at the same time. And that gave me a motivation to read more about even education, about them, how British, I mean, kids were, how they are brought up. uh, are they taught about this from their childhood? Like, I mean, to be a little bit more, like, maybe reserved, detached, to use
I
less
don't,
words?
I don't think that they are. The most important thing to remember about the social history of the United Kingdom is that it is actually, in a way, very similar to the Hindu society of India, where it is divided into many different classes, and there are many different regions, and there are a surprising number of different accents in that relatively small geographic area. There's Northumbrian, there's Newcastle, there's London, and they all speak differently. And depending on what class they're from, they may be a little more sophisticated or maybe not so much. It really depends more on that. And then one also has to remember that the English are quite distinct in their own way from the Welsh and the Irish and the Scots and the Cornish, who are actually Celtic, and then the English are something else. So that's kind of uh, the general breakdown that I can give of the British Isles. And that sort of smile that you described, that's delivered as part of a register of the social triumph, but it is not the social triumph itself. That's a
Mm.
kind of a distinction.
Mm-hmm. So, but I didn't get. Were they are they really taught to behave, to respond this way from their childhood, or they
No.
just
Smiles are incidental. Smiles are something that almost takes root in a population group through accidental psychological conditioning over time, like how many Russian habits were trained into the population versus how many of them just emerged over time because they made sense somehow to that population group given the environment in which they lived. Smiles are not necessarily really taught, I wouldn't think. I don't know for certain, but I wouldn't think so. I would just suggest that they were probably a mannerism that was accidental, but how you argue and how you win your social battles, that aspect would be taught
Mhm,
to members of the upper crust as children.
mhm. I see. Um, yeah, I think so. That smile is just copied, yeah, by they just learn it by copying. Um,
Yeah. It's a mannerism that, thousands of years ago, someone's father or mother started doing it, and then slowly it spreads throughout the population. Uh, a lot of the things that we do in life are actually like that. They're not so much the result of necessarily a conscious decision to make it that way.
mm.
Not all.
Do you think mm, do you agree with me? I would say like that that a smile is um, actually forced by sunny weather, and people in a cold uh, countries they smile less, just naturally.
I wouldn't say that a smile is caused directly by sunny weather. I would say that a greater frequency of smiling or a generally more relaxed attitude about life
Mhm.
can be a result or consequence of living in easier conditions, physically easier conditions that are the result of more sunshine. For example, if you live in an environment where food grows more easily, you don't have to be so uptight all the time. Whereas if you're living in an environment where the seasons are changing all the time and you have one growing season and you have to be very disciplined and make sure that everything is taken care of, it results in more of a military style regimentation to life. And there's less time to just don't worry and be happy, as one
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Western
that's
celebrity said.
um, of course, it's also has something to do with historical backgrounds. For example, during Soviet time, during the Second World War, Russia had, for example, tough time and smile, let's say, without reason could look out of place. We have a proverb in Russia, by the way. I forgot to tell you, like, Laugh or laughter without reason is a sign of foolishness. But we can't say that it's about smile. It's about exactly love. But this a little bit opens a general understanding of smile, let's say like that. Um, um, for example, if you smile at strangers, they can think that you're just mocking them. That's easily. But if Russians, for example, let's say, know each other very well in a very inner circle, um, they smile and laugh a lot, and um, they would. An opposite. They, in the contrary, they would perceive a smirk or something as their sign of uh, like aggressive sign. If someone from your very very close friends, let's say, do this, because if you already became, let's say, if you became um, a very close person to someone, then this not genuine behavior is like betrayal. It's can be. Um,
In other words, they can perceive that you're trying to do something sneaky behind their back or something like this, and you
just
might be
maybe
planning
you,
something.
yeah, just maybe you build a distance, and when, for example, you were friends, very close friends, and then all of a sudden, some kind of sincere feelings disappear, and comes this smirks or some kind of not genuine behavior. That's a betrayal for me, and I've recently even had this with my very close friend, and so this is just the way social, I don't know, connection works here.
Right. Interesting. Interesting. I hope it didn't turn out to be anything as serious as you were fearing in that case. It's
Yeah.
always unpleasant to encounter those episodes in our lives.
Oh, you're talking about my private situation.
Yes, yes. I hope that that situation was resolved in a way that was okay.
It it wasn't resolved so far, and maybe it won't be. So who knows? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
we all
that.
face those episodes. I certainly have faced plenty of them myself, but not because of smiling. That's for sure. That's definitely a cultural difference.
All right. So I think we a little bit gave a talk on this topic, and it's time for me to start my lessons and for you to go to sleep. Right? We have 10 hours difference, and let's meet soon again and have an interesting conversation.
Indeed, we shall, Paulina. Thank you for joining me, and thank everyone who has tuned in to listen for this episode of Countercurrent Voices. We look forward to the next installment, as we hope you do as well.
Thank you. Goodbye, Alexandra.
Goodbye, Paulina.